Good evening. You are watching the news from the Sultanate of Oman television. First, the headlines. The Telecommunications Regulatory Authority announces of an initiative to cover more than 500 villages and rural residential areas with telecommunications and internet services. "86 new cases of COVID-19 are registered in the Sultanate with 7 deaths and 233 cases recovered. And the government bodies continue the efforts to ensure applying the Supreme Committee decisions to limit the spread of coronavirus. Those were the headlines. Now for the news in detail. The Telecommunications Regulatory Authority announced of an initiative to cover more than 500 villages and rural residential areas with telecommunications and internet services. This came after the authority got the approval from the Ministry of Financial Affairs to fund the plan and provide communication services to the applicable areas. The authority clarified that its plan comes in line with the implementation of the long-term national strategy to cover the digital gap in the rural areas in the Sultanate, as it worked on preparing a list of such areas in cooperation with the offices of their Excellencies, the governors, as well as members of the Shura Council. The list of the areas is available at the website of the Telecommunications Regulatory Authority, and it welcomes the proposals and observations of the citizens so as to serve the goals of the national strategy. The Ministry of Health announced 86 new confirmed cases of COVID-19, which brings the total number registered in the Sultanate to 1,266. It also announced the death of a 59-year-old resident to be the 7th death case. The Ministry of Health stressed that 233 cases have been recovered.
Within the efforts to limit the spread of COVID-19, the ministry advises all citizens and residents to keep on washing hands with water and soap. Avoid touching the face, nose, mouth and eyes. Follow hygienic habits when coughing and sneezing. Adhere strictly to social distancing instructions. Stay at home and not to go out unless absolutely necessary. Adhering to isolation and social distancing will prevent you, your family and the community from COVID-19. Stay safe.
Ministry of Regional Municipalities and Water Resources continue to monitor commercial establishments to ensure continued application of the decisions of the Supreme Committee on COVID-19. The ministry record showed 158 violations against commercial establishments in various governorates reported from April 1st to 15th. The ministry deployed inspection teams to various governorates to observe and report any violation of Supreme Committee's decisions. The record showed 44 violations in the governorate of South Batana, 42 violations in the governorate of North Batana, and 26 violations in the governorate of Ad-Dakhiliya. The record also showed 14 violations in the governorate of Buraymi, 12 violations in the governorate of South Sharqiya, and 11 violations in the governorate of Al-Dhahira. The ministry reported 8 violations in the governorate of North Sharqiya, and only 1 violation was reported in the governorate of Dhofar. A number of Omani students in Australia who wanted to stay there continue their studies, as there is no single case of coronavirus COVID-19 registered among them. The Omani consulate called upon citizens and residents who want to return to the Sultanate to contact the consulates, which affirmed the return of many students to the homeland. It is worth mentioning that a number of Omani students complete their studies in the universities and colleges in Australia online from home in the Sultanate, according to the plans and curriculum of these universities. Still to come in our news bulletin. Using modern equipment and methods enhance the increase of wheat crop production in the governorate of South Sharqiya.
Non-compliance with the directives of the Supreme Committee dealing with coronavirus COVID-19 exposes you to risk and legal action. Stay safe.
Welcome back to the news from the Sultanate of Oman Television. Ministry of Finance predicted a decrease by $500 million Omani riyals in the expenditure volume estimated for the government budget due to procedures deployed this year. The ministry confirmed that the government is currently reviewing the deployed procedures and is working on establishing new fiscal and economic procedures to achieve economic stability for the Sultanate and realize the targeted growth for the state budget as well. The ministry issued 13 financial circulars and a number of directives to various government units, cutting down the public, increasing the development budget by 10%. These procedures aim at lowering the public expenditure to counter the sharp decline in oil prices and achieve financial sustainability and stability. The Ibri Referral Hospital launched a number of initiatives to limit the spread of the coronavirus, represented in remote communication with the doctors and pharmacists so as to reduce their visits to the hospitals as well as limit crowding in clinics in order to provide best services possible. One of such initiatives is Ask Your Doctor from Home, which aims to reduce the visits of the individuals to the hospitals. Another such initiatives are launched by pharmacy section in the hospital to stay in touch with the patients and contact them when their medicines are ready. The wheat harvest season started in some farms in the governorate of South Sharqiya. It is considered one of the as farmers use modern. More than 8 tons of wheat is expected to be harvested by the farmers to enhance wheat production through providing farmers with modern wheat threshers. During the season, the farmers gather to cut wheat crop and then dry it, after which impurities are removed and the wheat grains are packed to be sold in the local market. This is the Sultanate of Oman Television. Before we end tonight's bulletin, here are the main headlines once again. The Telecommunications Regulatory Authority announces of an initiative to cover more than 500 villages and rural residential areas with telecommunications and internet services. "86 new cases of COVID-19 are registered in the Sultanate, with 7 deaths and 233 cases recovered. And the government bodies continue the efforts to ensure applying the Supreme Committee decisions to limit the spread of coronavirus in the Sultanate. With that, we come to the end of tonight's news bulletin. From all of us here at the newsroom and the studios, it's a good night.